I didn't even realize that. All right, Black Box Radio. We are in the box. It is FiTT TWiNz closeout 2021. I'm Queen from Black Box Radio. I'm a host at Black Box Radio. I am the twin. I have a my co-host, the best part of the show. She's with us. She's going to introduce herself. You moving around over there,
I'm
sis?
sorry. I'm
You
sorry.
good?
Yeah, I'm gonna take my glasses off because of the glare.
Okay, well, yeah, Black Box Radio. Listen, I need you guys to subscribe to Black Box Radio. You see all of that under our faces. Go to blackboxradio.com, subscribe. If you want to holler at us, hit blackboxradio@gmail.com and just holler black. So, D, tell the people who you are. Talk to us.
Peace, family. My name is Amaadi, aka the Belly Therapist, founder of FiTT TWiNz here. I just help women of all shades and sizes feel better about themselves through fitness, through nutrition, through wellness, and also through belly therapy. If you've had a stubborn tummy, core not as strong or tight as you'd like it to be, come see me.
Come see that sister. You outside?
I'm not outside, but it sounds like it, don't it?
Wow. Sound like you outside. All right. Well, we usually have a guest, but the guest today is me and you, Fit and Twin. That makes us the FiTT TWiNz.
That's
And
right.
so we are just here to kind of close out 2021, talk about like what we're going to do in 2022, any resolutions you have, and kind of just close this thing out. It's been a hell of a year. It seems like 2020, um, we know we were introduced to the contagion. 2020 ended. The 2021, we still had this contagion. We're closing out 2021, and now we got the cousin of the contagion, Omicron. So I don't know, 2022, we're gonna have to deal with another piece of the contagion. So the last 3 years, and the whole time we've been together has been in COVID-19, in the contagion.
Yeah.
So we are the FiTT twin virus. We're the black virus out here. So 2021 has been a hell of a year. It really has. We've seen a lot. It's This is a different time to live in. What you think about that?
I completely agree with that statement. This
We
is
are here for a reason because we could totally miss this. We could have died before or came after. And we could still be here and not even be cognitive to know what's going on. So a lot of people don't even have a clue. You got new babies, you got people who are sick, but it's just amazing. It's a real different time to live in because it's like you want to do something, but you're not sure about doing it. You go and do it, and you're cautious while doing it. It's a different world we're in right now. How you feeling about that?
I am feeling a bit uncomfortable.
Hmm.
I'm feeling a bit uncomfortable. There are some things that I knew that were going to happen,
Mm.
manifest, whether we could see it or even just feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Years ago, I have three boys, I have three sons, and some of the things that are actually unfolding or have been unfolding over the past couple of years, I had a feeling this was going to happen over 10 years ago. And
Wow. Now, what do you mean this was going to happen? Like, what's this?
a change, a
Ah,
shift,
a shift.
a new paradigm crumbling as one unfolds,
Ah,
and the merge, and not merging, but like the literally the shift of an old paradigm to a new
sure.
paradigm, and like the middle of that, like the actual change of it, I knew was going to happen. And
Mm,
I just didn't know when.
got it.
And the feeling of it and seeing it in so many different ways on so many different levels and in so manifesting in so many different intensities, um I'm uncomfortable,
Mm,
but guess what, there's so much growth in being uncomfortable.
that's what growth is.
That's what growth is, that's where
Yeah,
growth takes place.
exactly.
So um it's just a constant reminder. The being uncomfortable is a constant reminder to be grateful, to feel blessed, to feel complete, whole, enough, adequate. This is a time where I would suggest that people look inward more
Mm.
as opposed to absorbing. Actually, you want to be careful of absorbing all of these external energies, all of this external information. Um, I make a conscious effort not to watch a lot of news. I make a
Yes.
conscious effort not to have certain conversations with people that I feel might, um, I don't know what that word is. I've been trying to think of what that is, but just being more aware of how I'm feeling, how I'm reacting to things. Why am I reacting to things? What am I feeling? And if I had to boil it down, it would be discomfort. And
Hmm.
that's not, and I don't necessarily say that in a bad way.
Okay. Because
Um,
discomfort sometimes can be just you going the reset of it. This is a real reset. I mean, it's packaged in a viral movement when it comes to the virus and the deaths that surrounding us and the sickness. But it's resetting the universe almost
yeah,
in a way. It's a whole like reset going on, and to process this as humans, we will see in the next 3 to 5 years how this is being processed, because people have lost multiple family members, friends. It also lost the way of life, and that's a loss. The way of life that we lived in 2018, beginning of 2019, it's gone, and it's not something that we're going to recapture. And technology has moved in and circumvented everything that we used to do. And so within that, even our performance when it comes to job performing, the things that we do performing every day, is not the same. You,
yeah, yeah,
functionality has changed.
yeah. Now so so all of what you said, I completely agree with that. And there's so much to unpack because there's this virus
Yes.
and all its cousins and uncles and grandmommies
Yeah,
and
the whole
aunties,
family.
right?
Yeah,
But there's also the technology component to it, right?
that is
There's
absolutely.
also within the technology component, we can go even deeper, but the social media um, aspect, just kind of teasing this out a little bit, which can be
Yes.
teased out even further. There's also this, um, because I'm kind of heavily trenched into it, I'm not even going to say subtle, but there's like this, and I don't like to use the word war, but there's this emerging, fastly emerging conflict between heterosexual men and heterosexual women.
Whoa.
Battle of the sexes. And
Like whoa.
I mean heterosexuals.
Whoa. I didn't
Um
expect that.
yeah,
Whoa.
so there's that. And then I mean there's like there are a lot of things. So when I say things are, this paradigm shift, and
Mm-hmm.
there's this discomfort and the energy, it's not just the pandemic, the virus, although there are a lot of things that are stemming from it as a
Mm-hmm.
result. But there are some other things that are also, there's the transgender movement. There's this, the dating, heterosexual dating scene, online and offline. There's just the technology. There's self-image,
Yeah.
is a big one that definitely social media and technology play a big role into
Yeah.
it. There's just, so much happening all at once, and we haven't even gotten to the politics of world affairs
None
and
of that.
what's going
We're
on.
just talking about social issues,
We're
sociology,
just talking about way of life,
way of life. Yeah,
quality
just
of life.
just think of the other things that's been touched.
Yes,
It's absolutely scary. I didn't even expect the heterosexual things.
travel. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
haven't talked about travel. We haven't,
travel,
you know.
all of that.
So
And I'm traveling once a month, and I see the difference. Um, to visit my mother, and I see out here what's the difference. But I'm on the road, and I refuse to travel on a plane because I don't want to take no cousins and none of the family home to my mother. So, but that I traveled during the pandemic with the seats open, and flights not even half filled. That was a different experience because you get the whole rows to yourself.
And
So
that's another one. That's
that
another
was a
one. Just
different experience.
half the half full, I'm gonna say the half full flights, that's business.
That's
So a lot of
business.
business, so even
But
economically,
now they're packed again.
some businesses are flourishing and taking off. Some
Yes.
businesses are plummeting and have gone out
Mhm.
of business. So there's like so many things
This is
just
a true reset. A lot of businesses that we've seen for hundreds of years that's been able to deal the the pandemic took them out, or the technology of what the pandemic brought to the table
or
is
other businesses took them out that
took
use technology to
exactly.
their advantage, right?
So it's so many facets of what we're living. It's a very different time. And
Education.
everyone is trying to say, I want to go back. We're not going back. So what we have to do is look forward, and how do we actually package what's happening to us and deal with it, because it's going to be some mental health issues.
Mental health is on the rise.
And abuse is on the rise. People are in
Abuse
the
is on
house
the
too long
rise.
with this abuse that we're seeing. And look at the violence that has, we got a contagion that is eating us alive, literally around us, and we don't know where it is. And then we also have the violent movement of a human. So humans are, Baltimore is just as violent as it was without the pandemic.
Yeah.
300 plus murders again. Um, the
We've had
things
some
that's
protesting happen across the world.
yes,
Education in terms of online now, adjusting to online for a year,
virtual
now
learning.
back to in person, and then like
Yes,
the adjustment. And I have very close friends that are teachers, and like all of them
all
were
of the teachers are
they were
in.
all burnt out after the
Yes,
first
they're
week.
tired. The teachers are tired. And we have
So
not even addressed that burnout. And that's our future.
yeah,
They're teaching our
yeah,
children.
yeah. And then
It's a
we've got
lot going on.
this critical race theory debate. Should we teach certain things in school? There's just so many things
Yes.
that are impacting, and it's just like all happening at the same time, and it's almost like, wait, what do I focus on, kind of thing. And
Yeah,
it's
you
like,
got to watch your consumption, because it'll throw you off. It's so much things to consume, that's out here, and then on top of that, biology is doing this thing. When you look at geneticism, and you look at Europeans, and the demographics of this country, the change that's going on. Even when it comes to minority, we're about to be the second minority in about 3 to 5 years. The Spanish folks are going to be number one. Then Black people, we know it's not that we're not producing any children, it's that we're killing each other. So, and they said in 10 years Asians will surpass us. So we're in a cyclone where
yeah,
Black people are not going to be the highest majority, and we have all these ancillary issues befalling us, and then society has flipped on us, because I think capitalism is tweeting. It is definitely leaning. Capitalism is not what it used to be,
mm-hmm.
because you have to have a lot of control with capitalism, and technology takes your control away.
Yeah. And just to go back to birth rates are dropping
Absolutely,
across the planet, especially in Europe, but even here,
Europe
um,
is a big problem.
especially in particular here, which is why some of the minority groups
The
are
groups are
rising,
changing.
because
Yes.
the white birth rate is declining
Well,
pretty much.
it's a negative rate that has ever been in. It's now negative, so now they don't have a rate, and they're clear that, and it speed up their majority movement from 2040 to now 2036, because the
Mm,
lack of birthing of white children, and so they know this, and so we got to be clear that if we're citizens of the world, and to be clear about being a citizen of the world is majority colored.
correct.
Let's get it that the Europeans are 15% of the population as a whole. We live in a country where they've been a dominant population forever, but as a whole, they have always been the minority. But
Correct.
but now we see in the US they're becoming the minority in numbers. And so they have all of these demographics, and that's why critical race theory is an issue, because then the whole story has to be told, They don't want the whole story told. But
Well,
it's not
it's hard to give up privilege. It's hard to give up privilege. You've had
it,
privilege for hundreds of
400
generations.
years, 500 year generation. It's hard to say the privilege is going down, that somebody else is going to have some of your privilege. And I get that. But you got to have the babies if you don't want, hey, that's on you. You got to be strong enough. But one thing about a progenitor gene, which is an African gene, when it produces everything, it will
Correct.
all it knows how to do is produce.
Correct.
And so this is what we have to know, the strength of what our genes are. If you look at Africa, it's the most dominant nation right now. 40% of its population is under 25.
Mm.
That you can't get a population that dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
That is amazing. 25% is under 30.
Yeah.
That is
One in four. Yeah.
that is amazing population. And when you have that, then it's very hard to circumvent that type of production. And you produce, and you see every COVID wants to come out of Africa. Ebola, every COVID, everything bad comes out of Africa, but the population continues to swell. Continues.
Yep.
That's a progenitor gene. And so what we have now is a lot of things going on in the world. And the world is so small. It used to be you didn't think about what's going on in Europe, or we were all in little silos, but now we
It's
feel what's going on.
globalized.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it's just a real different world we're living in. When I was
Yeah.
young, I didn't think of other countries. Like, okay, but now these young people, like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to travel. They're getting in the, they want to go
Yeah.
early.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, even in speaking about the Black American Black women, it's projected that 50% of them will be single and childless in the next 5 to 10 years. Like 50%, 1 in 5 Black women will not marry or have a child in the next
Absolutely.
5 to 10 years, which I kind of found astounding. Um, so yeah, like just everything. There's so
And that
much.
was by design. You got to slow that womb down. That's by design. And we got to look as Black women, we have to look at that. But we also got to look at the ills in our community. Where are Black men and the prison industrial complex? It's so many factors on our community. But
There,
1 in 5 Black women not producing children because we're going after education, and we're going after being placed. We're the most educated. That takes time. People don't get that. To be the most educated, you're going to school for 10 years, easy.
correct.
And
However,
so, yeah,
go ahead.
go
Go ahead.
ahead.
So there are pros and cons.
Mm-hmm.
There's strengths and drawbacks to any situation, and in particular, Black women going to college, they're going to get an education. We're
Yep.
we're more educated than our Black men. We're you know, our income is slightly increasing. Um, but there are drawbacks to that because you're focusing your youthful years on
On
something that you want,
something.
right?
I'm a product
And
of that.
then
Yep.
you look up once you
You're
start
old and you can't even get an egg out you.
you start to feel a little burned out, and you
Yep.
start to feel that biological clock ticking, and you
Exactly.
think that there's somebody right there that's just going to scoop you up, and then that's not the case because
Ain't no scooper, shorty.
right, you're a little older. You have maybe some baggage, some trauma that you have or have not dealt with.
Yep.
There are just so many factors involved,
Yep.
and so there's that, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
the other thing is, what was I going to say? Um, I have noticed that quote unquote average women, you know, because it's hard to talk these days because everybody's so sensitive,
Yeah,
right?
be
Like
careful.
20
Yeah,
years ago, you
listen, I don't want nobody writing the FiTT TWiNz. Be
You know what
careful.
I'm saying? Like average. I don't even know what is so
Yeah,
wrong about
yeah. Please
average. But
don't say
anyway,
nothing out of keep
we're
your
gonna
adjectives to a low.
right. So the typical, the
Yes.
normal, the most common type um of woman across all shades of racial groups wants above average in her man. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's called hypergamy. There's nothing
Yep.
wrong with that. A
Nothing wrong
woman
with that.
wants a man that makes more,
Yep.
that's taller, that's strong, like wants to provide, like all that. No problem, right?
Yep. Yep.
But there is a smaller amount of those men than are women. And we were raised in this fairy tale that we need to be monogamous.
You
Okay,
better.
fine, no problem. So we all
You
grew
better
up.
know it. Did you say fairy tale says you about to open up? Did you say fairy tale? Because I think it's the biggest fairy tale out here. But go ahead.
So we all were programmed at some
Yeah, we
point
heard the movie.
in this country
Mm-hmm.
that one man, one woman.
See,
But
that's
what
not.
if you have, but what if you have, you know, 20 men and 100 women?
Oh, what we
What
gonna do here? Somebody got to get serviced. I
what's going
love
to happen? What's going to happen?
you. Didn't tell me you was bringing all this power.
I
I
didn't know I was going to bring all this
and
power.
then you got them two little. I
You let
love.
my hair grow.
Yeah,
That
you
is one
right.
thing.
Boo boo. I see them two little balls up there. You coming with power today. I love it. But you know what? This, and I say this, and people say, "Oh, something's wrong with you." But I said, "Listen, it is not natural to for one human to just to be able to love and extend love to one person for the rest of their life. You can commit to that, but it's not a natural space. A
Well,
natural space is the ability to love and be with as much as you want that you can handle or
well,
that you're
depends.
allowed to be with.
It
But the
depends.
commitment
Depends.
could be to one person. That can be a commitment. You can do that, but that's not natural.
Well, it depends on when you say love and commit
When I
because
say love, I say more of being able to be in relation, being able to marry, spend, build with. You can do that on a level because you're never gonna get one man to do everything. He might be a good lover, a good provider, but he don't communicate. He don't want to go nowhere.
but so
You
what
think
are
you
you
got to
saying
get that
about
man that want to go somewhere?
well, so okay, so there's a lot to unpack there because during our grandmother's generation, that's what they
Hmm.
did.
They did
They
what?
they stayed for 20, 30,
Yeah,
40
they
years.
stay with these men. Yes,
I'm not saying that it was perfect. I'm not saying they should have left. I'm not saying they should have stayed. I'm just stating the fact that most marriages they
last
were in
forever.
it. They were in it
Yes,
for decades, right? And
yes.
now we can't stay together
The
for more
divorce
than 5
rate
years,
was zero, damn near.
right? Right.
Yes.
So when I say monogamy, I don't necessarily mean love, commitment. I mean sexually.
You mean sexually? Okay. Well, let's
Yeah.
stay there because that's where I really wanted to be. I was trying to be wholesome, but shit. Let's excuse my language. It made me curse.
But sexually.
Yeah,
Um
you're talking about sexually. Okay,
yeah,
let's go there.
I'm just talking about sexually
Okay.
because um and I don't think we've talked about this, but I have and it's actually more than a hobby now. I have fitness and wellness and nutrition and but those are like, things that I'm really really focused on and passionate about, but I also have another one that I don't talk much about, and that is the dynamics between men and women.
You know what? You are killing me today. I don't know what the hell is
And I have
happening
and
on my on
I'm actually
Black Box Radio. This is exclusive, damn it. Because I am like, what is going on here?
yeah.
Come
So
on with it.
I've been doing research for the past decade about men and about women and about the interaction and dynamic between the two, how we think, how we listen, how we communicate, how we act, our behavior, our instincts. And, when I realized that we are really literally different, literally,
Literally.
um,
Literally.
literally,
Yeah.
it's not just genitalia.
It's thinking capacity, it's the way that we approach things. We
Yeah.
are totally different beings.
Right. And so I have been spending years getting to researching the biological and the physiological differences as opposed to just
Mm.
the obvious ones. And I'm actually speaking a friend of mine, he I think he's a dating coach, he's an author. So he has a large male following, and I'm going to speak at his event tomorrow about what women want.
Really, D, and I'm just hearing about it at Friday evening. No, what is it?
No,
Thursday evening?
it's a closed event. It's for
No, I
his.
don't mean I can be there, but I didn't even know any of this was wait a minute. What is going down? I'm like, Floyd, what
So
up?
so
Wait a
just so
minute. So you're doing this male female analysis, but also when it comes to how we come together and build relationship
correct.
or have sex
So
or both.
so I thought I knew all about
Mm,
the female. I thought I knew all about the woman, right? Because I'm one of
yes,
them. I'm a part of that group.
I think so.
And I you make me think I am.
Yo, yeah, you got to be real adamant right now. Sorry, we're
But I
women.
didn't. But I didn't. I didn't know a whole lot about the female. And then I'm like, okay, well, if I don't know about me, I definitely don't know about them.
Ah,
So I started doing some research and reading about each of them. And then I'm like, wait a minute. So I'll like reflect back on maybe an argument I might have had with a previous partner or like another guy or whatever. And then,
mm-hmm,
either things weren't clicking or maybe it did click, but why? And it's just extremely fascinating because a lot of times men and women, when they're interacting, they're like this.
mm-hmm.
And there's a reason for that.
What's the
And
reason?
there are many, but one of the reasons that I came up with, don't hate me, ladies, don't hate me.
Nah, I'm loving this. Come on
One
with
of,
it.
one of the reasons is because women don't understand men.
Ow! You better. Why you setting Black Box Radio on fire tonight? You better know it. So
We,
you said we do not understand men.
nope, we don't
Whoa.
understand. We don't have a clue. We
Ah,
don't have a clue. No
ah.
clue. No
Okay.
clue. Maybe 3%.
And what do you get that? And what is your analysis? How did you come to that analysis?
Well, I had to do a little bit of reverse engineering because I'm like, how is it that men know a little bit about women? How is that? They might not know us fully, but it seems like they know us more than we know them.
Because I think when you're trying to, a hunter knows their prey. Women are waiting to be hunted. And so you're not clear on how you're going to get hunted. Damn it. I think I got it. I think.
You got me cabbage patching over here.
I see you, sis, with the lights going up the side. I
Yes,
got you. Yes.
yes. Well said. The gazelle, the deer,
Yep.
the antelope, pick
He don't
one.
have a clue what's coming.
They just
Yep.
they just have to exist.
And then here come the hunter and eat that ass up.
The hunter has to figure out where they at,
Yep.
how they move, how long they gonna be at that water fountain. You know what I mean? How to approach without being seen
That's true.
or
Yep.
looking thirsty. They want to drink some of that water too.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
The men, to a certain degree, have to know a little bit about women because they have to get them.
When I tell you that was a great analysis right there, the hunter knows the hunt with his hunting. The hunted is just sitting here waiting to be hunted.
Just clueless.
Mm.
And that's just part of it. That's just like a tip of the iceberg. But there's so many little things that if women knew about men, there would probably be a fewer divorces, fewer breakups.
Hmm. All right. So we went from the FiTT twins to the FiTT sexologist. What the hell? I am. Listen, I love this, but it makes sense. And I think when women now you see women are they're different. Women are hunting. Women are being very aggressive, and men can't handle it first because they don't know how to deal with that type of woman. So that becomes something bad or manly or all of these things. Because when we don't understand something, we usually put adjectives on it to make it negative. So, but you see, women more they're taking their sexuality, they're taking whom they want to have sex into their own hands,
And
and they're hunting too.
this is another thing to add on to that list of things that's you know adding to you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I saw a post a black man was taking up for black women. He was taking up for. He was defending black women because he was responding to a post about black women, they not feminine and da 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 da. And so the guy that posted was like, yes, they are. And like he was defending black women. And after I heard him talk, I disagreed with him.
Mm.
I was a black woman looking at his post, and I actually agreed with the person he was responding to, not him. So I put a comment, and it was about black femininity.
Mm.
And then I had to stop and think, wait a minute. Black femininity, right? Femininity, right? Woman,
Right.
female. But hold up, there's a difference between black femininity and white femininity.
You done made me spread my chest out. wait, wait a minute.
Wait a goddamn minute, right?
You done made me sit up and spread my chest out. What are you saying?
Because I really had to think about that because he actually challenged my comment. He was like, "Well, what do you mean?" And I was about to, my ego was about to like get in on him, but I was like, "Wait a minute, what do I mean?"
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing some research because the white woman, when I'm talking about what I'm talking about right now, I'm just speaking about America.
Sure.
Just to be clear, so we don't get no nasty emails. I'm just talking about America.
Just America.
So the white woman experience and the black woman experience is totally different. And if their experiences are different, then the definitions are going to be different. So, but that still doesn't answer the question why. What are the differences that I'm talking about? And I just recently thought about that. I was like, because I keep femininity and the divine feminine energy, and I'm like, yeah, but that's not necessarily universal 100% across the board because you have certain attributes or traits that can define femininity. Like, okay, yeah, she's feminine because she's got this and this and this and this, right?
Right.
From a white woman's perspective. And then there might be some overlap. But there are some things that might be on the white woman's list that are not on the black woman's list and vice versa. So I'm like, okay. So they've actually done studies on this, like research studies, doing regression analyses and like literally like
On the
hard.
black femininity versus white femininity. Wow.
Yep. And one of the biggest takeaways, and I am who I am. I'm a reader, I'm a researcher. So I went in. Plus, I actually used to do research for a living. So that's a double edged sword there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at it historically, World War I, right? If you take the white woman's experience, World War I, her even before World War I, she was in the home. She was taking care of the home. She was a housewife.
Mm-hmm.
Husband goes out to work, provides, brings home the bacon.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, what was the black woman doing?
Working.
She was out, just like her husband was out.
She was working. Yeah.
Black woman was out of the home working and coming home and still taking care of the house.
Still having to work. Exactly.
That's a big, big, big thing that no one takes into consideration.
Wow.
Just that one thing.
Just that one thing.
So if historically the black woman has had to go out, and we're talking in general. Some black women, yes, they had to stay home, and yes, some white women they had to work.
Not during World War I. It might have happened by 1960.
Right.
So when World War I.
Right. So when the war happens and and some of the white men, the husbands, the soldiers of these white women go off, they're sent off, they're drafted or they enlist or whatever, and they get shipped off. The white women are like, okay, I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
Black women already been out there working. War is done. The men come home. Some of the women stop work, whew, and they go back and resume their roles as full-time housewife and mom.
Mm-hmm.
Black woman didn't stop.
She can't stop.
So it makes sense that Black women are trying to be educated. It makes sense that Black women are trying to get the bag. It makes, from a historical
If
standpoint,
you
because
look
we
at the
all,
receipts, we've always been striving to get because we've had to. So we just continue, and we now the generation that's now can get the degree. Wow, look how you brought that together. You're teaching the nicest. Come on.
I mean, and this is just my perspective. I mean, it's definitely up for debate. But in my research and looking at this study here, I was like, wow. And some of the traits, I actually took notes because that's just who I am. Some of the traits of femininity. It was interesting. Some of the traits that they talked about was appearance, um, demeanor, personality traits, and traditional gender roles. Um, and it was just and I won't like get all into that, but those were some of the traits that they kind of teased apart when they did this research study. And the appearance had to do with the dressing and the hair and the makeup and stuff like that. um and they even talked about feminism, and they like compared or weighed feminism to appearance and all that. I mean, it's just so, like, this stuff just completely fascinates me because it's so easy for somebody to just roll up in 2022 or 2021 and just judge Black women because they're not feminine. Well, based on whose standards? Based on what historical information? Based on
Mm-hmm.
what experiences in the past and now?
Yep.
And I'm not saying that the majority of Black women are feminine. I actually think a lot of Black women are not.
Mm.
And 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 I'm going to say that I am kind of one of those.
But what does define feminine?
Again, the demeanor is a big one. I mean, you can have on makeup. You can have your hair did. You can look nice and have on high heels. But if you acting like a dude, it
Mm.
kind of cancels out, right? If you're not if the demeanor is not feminine, that's something to consider.
Hmm.
If you are, let's flip the script. If I don't have it's Saturday morning, I don't feel like going to the grocery store, so I throw on some sweatpants, my hair kind of cocked, and I don't have no makeup on, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
very feminine. When I say, let me not use that word, but my demeanor is soft
Okay.
and um non-combative, and um
So
I'm
non-combative has
and
something to do with feminine.
my posture is poised to the point where men will open the door for me. I don't even have to touch the door. I could probably be seen as feminine even though my dress doesn't match my demeanor. So it could go both ways. So just
Hmm.
because someone's dressed up doesn't mean that they're necessarily feminine acting. They might be feminine looking, and
Mm.
vice versa. You might be feminine acting, but you might not be feminine looking.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it's very interesting when you slow down and you kind of tease this out. But then,
Yes.
so
I'm like, wow. So
and
what are you? Where are you on this spectrum? Since you miss research, how do
so
you
this,
feel about that when it comes to you being a woman and your femininity and what you define as being feminine?
so I have come to realize that I have not been able to safely and fully express my femininity as an adult woman for a couple of reasons. A single mother, it's extremely difficult for me to be a single mother of three boys, three males, and to still be feminine. Because I have to manage everything. So their father is not local. So he don't get them on the weekends. I have them for months and months and months and months, and sometimes the whole year at a time. So I'm the calendar, I'm the cab driver, I'm the cook, I'm the shopper, I'm the homework checker, I'm the PTA conference representative, I'm the confidant, I'm the
You're everything.
punisher. Yeah, I'm everything. So it's kind of hard to relax into my femininity when I'm the
Mm,
only person doing everything. So that's number one.
okay.
Number two, I would say in my previous relationship, um, when I was completely oblivious that men and women literally are biologically, physiologically different,
Mm-hmm.
um, I would have to say I was the leader. I was the leader in that situation. Um,
Mm,
and it wasn't because that's what I wanted. It wasn't because I was rebellious. It was because most of the time when decisions had to be made, I had been in that situation before and I had experience with it. So instead of sitting and watching him try to figure it out from scratch when I done did it already,
you just went in.
it just made sense to, you know, and
Yeah.
it wasn't like I didn't consult and talk and we worked, you know, we talked about it. It wasn't like I'm just going to do it. It wasn't like that, but I would have to say I took the lead more times than not. So there's that. And so it's not until my current relationship where I'm starting to feel comfortable and safe and able to relax into my femininity. It's extremely difficult sometimes, but I've actually been making making an effort to sit in my femininity. And another thing that makes it difficult is that I'm also a teacher. I'm an
Mm,
instructor. I'm a guider.
mm-hmm.
So I'm always telling you what to do, what not to do. You should try this, you should try that. And that's putting me in my masculine.
Mm,
So there's like all these different components that kind of make it difficult, not impossible, but and then I'm not aware on top of that. So now that I'm aware, I'm like, you know, sometimes when I teach my class, my online classes in the morning, I'll notice I'm not barking, but I don't need to be talking like that. And so I'll like soften my voice.
okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm like, "Arr, arr, arr, arr." And I'm like, it's too goddamn going early in the morning to be doing this. Like, what? No. So I'll soften it a little bit, you know what I mean? And I'll even play some bossa nova jazz as opposed to some like hardcore house music, you know? So it's like, you know, just it takes effort because I'm not used to it. But I also have a very high level of testosterone. So there's that. There's hormones that are involved because
Wow.
testosterone, men are heavily inundated with testosterone, so they can grow muscles quicker. Their
Yeah.
voices are deeper. They have more more body hair. Um, you know, they're horny all the time. You know what I mean? And so women have more estrogen. So it's almost the opposite. We both have testosterone and we both have estrogen, but we are more dominant in one than the other is.
Boy.
And so as a woman, I've also realized that I have probably more testosterone, which also kind of works against me in naturally being feminine.
Hmm. Wow, I'm learning something. Man, this is close out. You know, open shit up. We supposed to be closing. You know, open
Yeah,
up
I
a
need to
whole.
guarantee that I'm gonna see your butt in January, so we gotta have a part 2 to this.
I'm telling you, you have definitely opened up opened up something because femininity and how it's defined, and a lot of times the definition of femininity comes from men and what they want to see and what they expect from a female.
And guess what? We should listen to them if we want one of them.
Ooh, you better let me get a drink.
But truly, like if
If
you
you want one of them, you need to listen to what you want.
and
Wow.
here's what I have I do a lot of research, and my partner and my kids probably think I'm just looking at trash, but I'm not. I'm actually in research mode, even though it looks like trash. And what I have realized is in the Black community,
Mm-hmm.
I'm only speaking about Black women. A large percentage of Black women are giving Black men what they themselves, the Black women, want to give them. That does not mean that's what the Black man wants. He's going to settle for it because that high level of testosterone, he got to get something.
Yep. But really, he does not what he really wants.
I've seen polls and studies and podcasts and videos and like all kind movie. I've seen all, and the votes are in. Black men prefer natural hair.
They do.
Black men
I have
do
men
not
tell me
want
that we do that for each other. We don't do that for men. They said,
black men do not want raptor claw fingernails.
no,
Black
they do
men do
not
not
want those
really want
eyelashes.
the
No,
caterpillar eyelashes. Black men don't want a whole lot of makeup. Black
that's
men,
what we're doing.
a lot of Black men actually want the natural body, even if it's a little jiggle jiggle, just a little jiggle jiggle. You know
They
what I
want
mean?
cellulite. They want to see some. They want something to
They
squeeze.
want they like. I mean, here, let me prove my point real quick. Let's go back to that story how I didn't feel like getting all dolled up just to go to the grocery store on a Saturday morning. Most women, most heterosexual women have been hit on looking like that. Men don't care.
They don't.
They don't.
They don't.
Yes, do they want their woman to look nice and presentable and with a little makeup enhanced and does her hair? Hey, yeah, but they don't want a completely different person when they wake up in the morning. They
No,
want
it's not a prerequisite like that. Yeah, yeah. You look over,
they
you be
don't,
like, wait a minute.
black men don't want the hair down to the butt, no matter what color it is, unless it's growing out of your head.
Yes.
And the Black men that you do see with women like that, and I'm not bashing nobody, I'm just telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. If the truth is painful, then somebody needs therapy. And guess what? I'm in therapy, so I'm not talking about nobody. I'm in therapy. If the truth
Lord,
hurts anybody, I don't care whoever's watching out there. If the truth hurts you,
you got to go to therapy.
you read the truth in the book and it hurt you, you got to go book an appointment.
I love today. This is the best ever.
I mean that with all the love in my heart.
Go get you a therapist.
Because if you are hurt, if someone says something to you, or you read something in the book, or you overhear a conversation and you get upset, something about you resonates with what you heard. Otherwise, you wouldn't think twice about it.
Yeah.
There's something in you that got struck, a chord got struck that you either believe or don't want to believe, or you feel like there's some conflict. If you are upset about anything, me included, I get triggered every single day. And every single day I get triggered, I'm like, why did that upset me? I might cry. I might go off by myself and go in my corner and lick my wounds, but I'm like, what was the big deal about that? And then I'll figure it out. And I'm like, oh, okay, that goes back to that story I tell myself all the time that's really not true. I am enough, or I am adequate, or, I'm whatever, right? We all have a story we tell ourselves, and a lot of us believe it. And here's the thing, half of the story is probably not even ours. It's probably our parents' story that they projected onto us, and we carrying it around feeling some kind of way about high water pants because our parents used to mock their sister because she wore high water pants. Yeah. But I actually like high water pants. Let me get that off because that ain't my story.
Yeah.
You see? So I don't know how I got here, but
well, you got here and I'm here with you. I'm riding this boat. I'm riding right along. Wow. You just brought a whole nother facet that I didn't even know you had in your toolbox. Okay. So that's the second row of the toolbox. This toolbox keep getting bigger. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So you talked about New Year's resolutions. I personally don't do New Year's resolutions. I do monthly resolutions. I work on myself every month. Every I took a nap before we got on here because I got tired of working on myself. Let me tell you.
Wow.
There's a book that I'm reading because I recently um found out. It's like I was 44 years old when I found out, because I'm 44, that I have an issue with boundaries, setting boundaries. I have an issue with setting boundaries. And I'm like, what? In the book that I'm reading, I'm like, oh my God, that's me all day. That's me all day. Oh my God, I can't believe this. And it actually feeds into a little bit of the story I tell myself.
Mm.
All goes hand in hand. Why I am afraid to set boundaries. I'm not even aware that I need to set boundaries. Why do I get upset when someone else sets boundaries? What happens if I ghost somebody or somebody ghosts me? Or, like it's deep, man. It's super deep. It's super, super deep. So um one of my monthly for December resolutions is to work on um not only why I had an issue with boundary setting, but to start setting boundaries and
Mm.
being respectfully firm in setting my boundaries.
Okay. I don't really believe in resolutions neither because for a whole year, you if you work on one thing, then you haven't worked on a lot.
Well, that's true.
Because
That's true.
in all actuality, life brings on things that you have to address. You just life alone, and then your family, and all of these things, these moving parts we live in. So it's hard to resolve in one a few sentences what you're going to work on. So I try to I mean, set short-term goals and really, really try to master those goals. And then the application of the goal, and why did I do it, and how am I going to apply it forever, or whatever it needs to be applied to.
Hmm.
So the resolution thing, I think, is it's a fantasy. It's what you see right now, and you might work on January. By February, you forgot.
No, well, I was gonna say it's a fantasy until January 13th.
There you go. And then
Well, what's one of the things that you're working on? I told you what boundary setting is one of mine. What's one of yours?
I'm definitely working on cleaning up my back office with the businesses and making sure. I think that's one of the things I'm really working on. Like taxes and finance, that type of back office stuff that we sometimes let go. I'm working on that, and I'm also reading and getting more. I'm buying books to be more astute about media and producing media for to grow, because you can only parlay but so long.
Mm,
You understand what I'm saying? And if you don't have the background, you got to find a way to learn some different things. So I'm getting books around that, and making the platform more viable and more open, and we got to spread like mustard. So to be able to do that, you have to understand your growth patterns, and kind of get some fresh stuff in, so you'll be able to do that. So I'm working on those things outside of per me. um I'm working on self-esteem.
mm,
Yeah, you we all have this thing that we tell ourselves we're good enough, we're this or that, but then sometimes when you have to really apply that, you stand
yeah.
back. So I'm working on always utilizing positive self-esteem. It's real important. I think we should, and it's something that we need to teach little girls and little boys. Self-esteem is so important, because when you believe in yourself, no one can tell you differently. But when you don't have a healthy love for self, or a healthy appreciation for self, then it's really hard for your growth patterns, because you're always attacking self. And so that's personally and professionally what I'm trying to do.
Awesome. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, that's where I'm at. And also, I'm riding my bike. I'm trying to do 50 miles a week.
Well,
I,
it was beautiful today. Did you ride today?
I rode today. I did 10 miles a day. Last week I did 42 miles.
Awesome.
So this week we're gonna see what I'm doing pretty well with but I'm trying to do at least 50 a week and I'm real intentional about being outside. And it's been beautiful, but not only that, Baltimore is a beautiful city when you slow it down.
Yeah.
We ride through it and zip here, but you really don't get to see it until I'm seeing things in Baltimore that I didn't even know was there on my own street. Let's talk about that. Because you
Wow.
just ride past it and you're not really sure, but then on the bike it slows everything down, and
Mm-hmm.
you tend to not walk as far as you can ride as far.
Right. Right.
You might walk up the street and you stay within a realm, but that bike can take you farther in a short amount of time, and it slows down when you can see things that you might normally see. So I
Yeah.
really like that part of what's going on, the bike ride. I got to get you my partner back on your bike. How about
Yes. 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 Today would have been a great day. Today would have been a
that?
great day. But
Yes. Today would have
yeah.
been a good. Yeah, we got to get your bike adjusted.
Yeah, I need me a seat because I ain't getting back on that seat until some things have changed. And that's all we gonna change the subject. We gonna leave it there.
But yeah,
But
so that's where I'm at, and just trying to be better. Growth starts from you and within you, and
correct.
you have to be in that phase at all times, and everything around us is changing, and if we're not making changes and trying to grow with what's going on around us, we're gonna be in trouble because it's moving fast.
We're gonna start to feel obsolete
Yes,
if we don't keep up.
because what we've learned all our life is now been changed in the last 3 years.
Yep.
Education, technology is going to make it a dinosaur. Technology is coming after everything that we do. We could tell from the way that we shop, the way that we Amazon. I mean,
The way that we're dating,
the way we're dating.
everything is online.
It's strictly online now. You don't even have to go see a person. You strictly do this thing online.
You can get your groceries delivered to you, which I haven't done yet. You
I
can,
haven't
I
done
mean,
that yet, but
get everything.
everything
Everything
is at
is
and everything is service oriented. If you want to get it done, it can get done. And we even see what we saw all our life as taxi service has changed to Uber, Lyft. They bring your hot food to you. You used to have to go run out to McDonald's. You don't have to run out to McDonald's anymore.
not McDonald's.
Not McDonald's. McDonald's comes to you now.
That's crazy.
It's crazy to even think that's what's happening out here.
Yeah.
If you want some ice cream, you can get
Yeah.
that from a
Yeah.
certain spot.
Yeah. That's true. That's very true.
Everything's at the tip of our fingertips. And so we have to grow and change and be ready for the continual growth there because we're only at the cusp of technology. We just started. Remember, we're
Yep.
now about 10 years in.
Yep.
It's going to multiply. And we've seen how phones have gone from just a
Like a
little,
suitcase.
yes, to something now that and the cameras have more resolution than actual cameras. We see how things are just every year iPhone releases a new iPhone,
Yeah.
and there's something
And
there for
about
us
a
to
million
do
people go into debt for it.
every
And
year.
here's the other thing. The generation, I don't know what Zennials, like I can't keep up.
Oh, Z.
Even the terminology
Yeah, the
of
Gen
the
Zers.
generations
We
are
on
changing,
Z now. We
right?
started at X. We on Z.
Okay. So even them, you know, I don't want to like yeah, the pronouns. Okay, what not the pronouns, the adjectives you said. You know, our generation, we were active. We went outside before, and when the lights came on, we had, we'd be in the house. We had to do our chores
All of that
because uh,
because you're
we
gonna
I
get killed.
we were afraid of our parents if we didn't
Mm-hmm.
do it. We had to get decent grades because yeah. So, we had a certain level of accountability that I don't believe is present in the current generations
Yes.
that are here now.
They have
Um,
access to everything. You
which
cannot
is
control their
also
access.
which I think breeds a certain level. I don't know what another word for lazy is, but dare I say it?
Or
I'm going to say it.
complacentness. Are they very complacent in what they do because they don't have to perform?
Yep, to a certain level. And my children, are not all of well, yeah, it's a different breed. But here's the other thing. It seems like the younger, like like if you take me versus my youngest child and you give us both a cell phone at the same age, he'll probably figure it out in 3 minutes. And when I say figure it out, I mean all the apps, download the app and sign up for all these things. And I'm still trying to figure out how to turn it on.
Their perception for technology is they're techno babies. It's like they come out knowing.
Yeah.
You see the little babies in the stroller. They got the phone in their hand. I saw a baby get on the phone with the code. I said, "You can't even count.
Wow. Right.
How do you know to? You cannot count to 10. You're too young, but you can get on that phone and you know where to go to see your cartoon. They're techno babies. They're
It's
in a different,
crazy.
yeah, it's
It
crazy.
just
A different breed,
they could
and
just figure stuff out.
they can figure stuff out. It's how they're built. So what are we doing to harvest that though? Are we continue with the movie because they're different children? So we got to give different answers and different theories.
And that's
So
hard
when you didn't even get it, yes,
yeah. I feel like I can't fully relate.
because you didn't get that. You grew up with the movie, but you expected to now do the short film. But you don't know no short films. You know movies.
Yep. That
They
is
in the
true.
10 to 15-second TikTok and they off that joke. They don't
I had to
they
get a
don't play.
tutorial on TikTok. I had to get a tutorial. And look now I'm addicted to the damn thing. I don't
Then
even
you
go
get
on
it. You can't
Instagram.
every time you look one go, you just keep moving. And it's endless. This shit is endless. It's just unbelievable.
It's
Now the
crazy.
reels, I get on a reel and I might be on a reel for an hour. You just keep moving. There's something new.
Oh, and guess what? TikTok, is Chinese, right? It's the
Yeah,
origin is Chinese, right?
yeah.
So the Chinese version of TikTok, I can't remember the name, but it's not called TikTok, but it's the exact same thing, but it's a different name. And for children 14 and under, it shuts off between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. Like they can't even get on it. That's number one. Number two, they can only get on it for like 20 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm.
And number three, there's no such thing as influencers like how we have influencers. They have things like how to do a science project, how to do this kind of rocket, or how to do this, whatever, because they're trying to produce a certain uh, group of workers,
Yeah, they're
scientists,
producing
doctors,
technologists, different technologists.
engineers,
Yeah,
right?
they're producing technologists. We are
And we're
producing
and we're
idiots.
and we're, and we're over here producing
Idiots.
influencers.
Absolutely idiots. That's what we're producing. But it shows that it's when someone knows something is dangerous, they regulate it. And China understand the danger of technology in irrational hands. And if it continues to be able to access everything, it's very hard to process that type of person, especially when they don't have the lived experiences or the rationality to deal with what they're seeing that technology will present to them. So when it's
Yeah,
being regulated, it's dangerous in some way. And so
that's true.
we're so damn free here, and we want to be free, 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 but we're not, yes, but we're losing our children in that moment because we have children now that are socially inept. Their social skills are they can't spell, they can't write a sentence, they can't even write in cursive. You
They
tell
can't
them to
even talk
sign
to each
something
other
and
in
they print,
person.
huh?
They can't even talk to each other in person. They'll just sit next to each other and be on their
On the
phone.
phone. They're socially inept. I'm telling you that they don't have no social aptitude because they are drawn to waves, energy waves, and it's not people. So we got to really look at what we do in our homes and what we do with these children and even ourselves, because we're just as addictive. Let's don't get it twisted. The
Oh
adults,
no,
we're
I
just.
agree.
I went in the airport and walked through the airport and nobody looked up. I could have blew everybody up and they would have never saw my face, because
What?
everybody's like this. Nobody looks up. Walk through the airport. I
Wow.
challenge anybody. Walk through the
Wow.
airport and look at the people. No one looks you in the eye. Remember the airport, almost like a when you walk through, everybody be looking at you. Nobody's paying anybody any attention.
That's dangerous too.
It's very, but they feel that they can because you're being checked, and then everything is
No,
checked.
they feel they not paying no attention because they got their phone.
Yeah, they got their phone. They feel safe. So, and they're already safe because you already been through the check and everything. So you walk through, and if they're not on a laptop, they're on a phone. No one looks up at you.
Wow.
Just do it. I tell people to go look at it. I said this is crazy. I can blow up everyone, and no one would have a facial. They just have it on the cameras.
Oh, and let's talk about cameras because I've gone into several Walmarts,
They're
and
everywhere.
if you go through self checkout, there's a flat screen TV that has a closed circuit. I guess that's the terminology. Camera, so you can see, you know how you can kind of look up and you see yourself on the
Mm-hmm.
screen, but there are yellow boxes around the people on the screen. So if I move, the yellow box moves wherever I go, and it's like that for everybody that is within the purview of that camera, and it shows on that screen, and they're like tracking us. They're
Walmart is the most camera ridden entity in America right now. If you do a crime or you do something and you go through Walmart, they're gonna catch you. They got they on their parking lot and inside they are camered up.
mm, mm, mm.
But all the little small spots are closed. Where we got to go? We got to go to Walmart. They set you up to you have to go there. Where you gonna go?
If you
There's
don't
no
go to
mom and pop
Walmart, then you
store.
gotta log in and order it online, which
Yeah,
is another way for
I'm
them to.
tracking you. You still gonna get tracked. The
And
only thing,
Cash App now is gonna be tracked through the IRS now.
yeah, because it's moving money around.
Yep.
We the digital wallet is going to change. Like China has a cashless um a cashless economy, so they only use. We're on our way. So when the people who keeping money under their bed and they keep
They
a little
better
money
hurry up and
here,
do something with it.
because you're not going to be able to do any of that and utilize it. That
That's true.
they're going to take complete control of society.
Yeah, and I think this Bitcoin,
Yep.
cryptocurrency, all that stuff is yeah, I'm uncomfortable.
I'm uncomfortable too, but one thing I do know is I'm not going to be here forever. Because we're ladies of a certain age. So I'm not going to be here forever. So I need to ride this thing out with as much information and self analysis as possible. And I feel for the young people, the 12-year-olds and the 16 and 20-year-olds. They got a long time to deal with this foolishness that's out here. So 2022, drop your
I'm
jewel.
feeling for everybody.
Drop your jewel. We've been here
I'm
for an
feeling for
hour. We
everybody
out of
who's
here.
coming.
FiTT TWiNz
Uh-oh.
it's been a beautiful experience. We've been here for an hour. We're moving in. And this is the last time I'm going to be on mic in 2021, unless there's an amazing something that happened. But this is the last scheduled. Uh,
This is the last black box?
this is the last black box for the year. So we are. This is the last
Wow.
one for 2021. I'm spending it with my sister. Um, I just want to say to everyone, this has been again. This is my second year. This has been an amazing experience. Being in Baltimore, I'm honored to be able to touch as many people I've touched or I've even have interactions with via the mic or just in the community. We're gonna keep going forward. We're gonna build out a little more. We're definitely trying to do events, but more than anything, we want to grow the platform so we can bring more information to the people That's what's important. But I just want to say
Mhm.
I'm honored to be in this position to be able to talk to people once in a while, twice a month, 3 times a month. And to also the people
Mhm.
I've been around, my fit twin. She's been with me from the beginning, damn near. So I just listen, this is a labor of love. And we presented a lot of people to the people.
We
You know,
have
we have.
some
And
awesome people, actually.
some awesome people to the people. So I really love this series and we have to build it out. We definitely have to build it out. So thank you for letting us come in once a month and talk to you guys. And thank you for coming to see Black Box Radio. We just so appreciate the connection we have with the Black Boxes. So for 2022, love, laugh, and grow. That's where I'm at. Do
I
that.
love, laugh, and grow. I love
Yeah.
that.
Love, laugh, and grow. What you got?
I would say continue to learn thyself.
Mm,
You have to learn thyself before you know it. Because, a lot of people say, know thyself. And a lot of us, we don't know ourselves. So I would say, continue to learn thyself.
mm.
Journey inward.
The
The answers
journey
are there.
in.
The answers are there inward as you live, laugh, and grow.
I think I love that because I think, like you said, a lot of us don't know ourselves.
Yep. Sometimes we don't even know what we want to eat for lunch. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Made you laugh on purpose.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. A journey inward.
Yeah. Continue to learn self.
And
And to remember, everyone, we need to remember, and sometimes it's hard to remember this. Or hard to accept.
mm,
But we are 100% responsible for what happens in our life.
yes.
The good, the so-called good, the so-called bad, the so-called ugly.
Yeah.
If you are reacting to something in a very positive way, you are 100% responsible for that.
Mm,
If you're reacting in a very not so joyful way,
irresponsible.
you are also responsible for that. You are responsible for your reactions. And the journey inward is to figure out if you're not feeling too good about some of your reactions. Notice I didn't say situations.
Yeah.
Then you need to figure out why. And then
Mm,
once you figure that out, maybe you then need to change your situation.
hmm.
But you always want to start with yourself.
Y'all hear those jewels? That's the 2021 jewel right there from Amaadi
I'm
Coleman.
just
She put it out there.
I'm just a squirrel.
Trying to get a nut. Oh my goodness. Listen, I love you. I appreciate you. You are amazing. I just want you to know that. Before 2022, I want you to know you're amazing. And I love you. And I'm so glad to be in relationship with you.
I appreciate you. I love you as well. You're doing great work. I admire um, your commitment to your mission, your outreach. Everything that you're doing is awesome. And anything I can do to help support you, I will do it.
And you have done that. So we are FiTT TWiNz and we are boxed up and out. Deuces. Power. And
Power.
whatever. You know it's power.
Power.
Power. Yeah. Peace.
Peace.